Hi YouTube, Tim Uckert here. In this video, I'm going to go through my Algebra 1 honors review where they're taking tables and writing functions, either linear or exponential, or they're taking those type of functions and then creating a table. So let's look at this first one. It says, given the following table, write a function for x. And then on a separate piece of paper, show your work, then confirm your solution with Desmos. I'm just going to go through here and show you how we would write the function. So when x is 0, f of x is negative 10. Hopefully you can see that. That is the b value. And what I mean by that is when we have a function, a linear function of the form f of x equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y, or in this case, f of x intercept. So b is negative 10. So now we need to find the slope. So, well, first off, I didn't tell them it was linear, but you can tell this one is linear because we increase by 30 each time when we increase by 1 on x. So f of x increases by 30, going from negative 10 to 20, and then it increases again by 30, going from 20 to 50, 50 to 80, and so on. So our slope in this case is going to be 30. Okay, so if I want to write my function, I'm going to write it as f of x equals 30x plus a negative 10, or just minus 10. And there we go. And that 30, that 0 looks really big, but I'm writing with a mouse, so just cut me some slack on that one. All right, let's go to problem 2. All right, so given the following table, write a function for x. If I'm looking at this one, I see it doesn't look like there are steady increases. Now, if I know this is a quiz where we're dealing with linear and exponential functions, I'm assuming that this is an exponential function, and that would take the form of f of x equals a times b raised to the x power. So b is the base, we get the exponent here. A is the initial amount when x equals 0. Because when x equals 0, we've got whatever the base is raised to the 0 power, so that's 1. So it's going to be the initial amount times 1, which is just the initial amount. In this case, the initial amount is 110. Okay, so now we've got to figure out what b is. So I could take any of these values. I could do 165, or not 165, but 247.5 divided by 165, or 165 divided by 110, or 371.25 divided by 247.5. So b is going to be that. I'm just going to pick the first two values. So 165 divided by 110. And if we do that, that's going to be 1.5. So that's this, b. Okay, so f of x. And what that means is every time when I go up, I'm multiplying by 1.5. So to go from 110 to 165, I multiply by 1.5. I do that again to get to 247.5, then to 371.25, and so on. So my function here is going to be f of x equals 110. And instead of using this dot, I could just write 1.5 inside of a parentheses. I kind of like doing that, using the parentheses to indicate the multiplication, just because of the visual aspect with the decimal point here. But it doesn't really matter. All right, so we got 110 times 1.5 raised to the x power. That is my function for this problem 2. Let's keep going. Okay, next one, we got to decide, is this a linear or exponential function? We're going up by 1 on x, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, from 4 to 5. We increase by 1, so plus 1 each time. On the f of x, I go up 20 here, 20 here, and also 20 here. So this is a linear function. We have a constant rate of increase, and we have a slope of 20 over 1. So the slope is 20, so m is 20. But our b value, we don't have x equals 0 here, so we actually have to work back. So if we're at 2 and we're going to go back to 0, we would actually have to subtract 40, because remember, each jump of 1 in x goes up 20. So when you go backwards, for each x, you go back or subtract 20, and we're going back 2 on the x to go from 2 to 0. So we have to subtract 40 from 0 here. So b is negative 40. So our function is f of x equals 20x minus 40. And there we go. All right, so that's it for that one. All right, let's keep going. Okay, we've got another table here. We're going to write a function for x. I don't have the initial amount here, but I do have my increase here. So this is not constant. Each of these is not a constant, adding of some number. So I'm going to assume this is exponential. So let's try and figure out what the base is first. So if I take 397.1 and divide by 209, so let me take out my handy calculator here, and go here, we'll take 397.1 divide by 209, and we get 1.9 as our b value. Okay, so if we divide 209 by 1.9, we're going to get our a value. That'll be when x equals 0. So let's do that. So 209 divided by 1.09. Divided by 1.9. That equals 110. So that's our a value, is 110. So our function in this case becomes f of x equals 110 times 1.9 to the x power. And that's it for that one. Okay, let's keep going. All right, in this one we have another table. We want to write a function. If I look here, I'm subtracting 15 for this one. So let's check the next one. Subtract 15. Okay, it's looking linear. Yep. Each time I am subtracting 15. So my slope is going to be negative 15. That means when we get less on x, each time we get less on x, we add 15. I'm going here at 4. I want to go down to 0. So I would do 4 times 15 and add it to 100. So my b, my intercept value, is going to be 100 at 4 plus 4 times 15. So that's going to be 160. If you work it back towards 0. So my function is going to be f of x equals negative 15x plus my intercept, 160. And we're done with that one. Okay, next one, we are creating a table. So we've got a function f of x equals 2x minus 3. And we want to create a table for values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's do it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's make our table. All right, so if I plug in 0 for x, I have 2 times 0, which is 0. We could also just look at this. This is going to be our y-intercept, so minus 3 there. So we're going to start at negative 3. And we're going to increase by 2 each time we go up 1 in x. So we go to negative 1, positive 1, positive 3, positive 5, and positive 7. And we are done with our table for that one. All right, next one we have a function f of x equals 105 times 1.05 to the x power. So it's an exponential function. And we want to create our table for values 0 through 5. Okay, so let's start with 0, 1, 2. Let's do a better 2 there. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let's make our table. So the initial amount when x is 0 is going to be this 105. So we're going to start with 105. And then we got to multiply times 1.05 each time. So 105 times 1.05 is going to be 110.25. And we're going to multiply times 1.05 again. So we have 115.7625. Then times 1.05 again. So 121.55065 times 1.05 again. Oh, all right, I'm going to round this number a bit. So 127 goes on for quite a bit. Let's just call it times 0.63. For my quiz tomorrow, if you want to go to 2 decimal places, that's fine. All right, times 1.05. And then we got 134.009, so I'm going to call it 134.01. Okay, and we're good with that one. All right, next one we have a linear function f of x equals negative 30x plus 11. So the slope is negative 30 and the intercept is 11. And this time we want to go from negative 3 to positive 3 on our table. So I'm going to do my x value. Let's do a better x. X value, my f of x value. Okay, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. It's a mouse-drawn table, but so anyways, at 0, f of x is going to be 11 because of the intercept here. And it's going to decrease by 30 each time. So if I go to 1, we're going to drop 30. So we do 11 minus 30, which is negative 19. Then we subtract 30 again, which is negative 49. And we subtract 30 again, which should be negative 79. I'm just checking myself here because I'm doing this in the evening. My brain is a little tired. If we go the other way, we're going to add 30. So we're going to do 41, 71, and then 101. And that's going to be our table for those values. All right. Oh, I ran out of space. Should have been on the last page. All right, let's just, we'll do it up. Get rid of this. Okay, so what's this last function? It's f of x equals 86 times 0.77 to the x power. Let's just cross this one out. F of x equals 86 times 0.77 to the x power. That's going to be what we're going to create the table for, and we want to go from -2 to 2. All right. So we'll set up our table here. Okay, at 0, our value is going to be 86. And as we go up, we're going to multiply 86 times 0.77. So our next value is 66.22. And then multiply times 0.77 again. And we get 50.989. So let's just call it 50.99. Okay, going the other way, we would divide by 0.77. So 86 divided by 0.77 is going to give me 111.69. Rounding. 269,688. But then we're going to divide by 0.77 again, and we get 145.05. And there we go. That's our quiz review. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, give a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave questions in the comments below.